We missed my introduction, but introducing Bryant Powers, who's going to be our guest speaker for the day. And Bryant, we've done a couple of different calls before, sometimes more of like an interview style, because I just feel like you have a wealth of knowledge in so many different aspects of affiliate ownership. And so you're kind of like, yeah, shoot, what do you want to know? I'll tell you what I've learned. I've tell you what I've done, what I've tried. So there will definitely be a big portion of interaction Q&A here. People have specific questions they would like to hit Bryant with. But truthfully, I was thinking a good topic that we haven't talked about recently would be how you handle all of the different inbounds for people coming in and they want to check out CrossFit Oahu. This could be everything from existing members that you're keeping engaged to potential new members to drop-ins, which you get a lot of in
Yeah.
Honolulu. So that was kind of my one jumping off point, and then we can kind of go anywhere with this. If everyone's like, "Nah, we don't want to hear about that," you guys can fire away with what's interesting. So, but first, welcome. Glad to have you here.
No, I'm excited to be here. And you said like CRM and follow up and lead stuff. And I always think like like a CrossFitter, you got like weightlifting, gymnastics, cardio, all that stuff. In business, that might historically have been my weakest. So I've spent a lot of time trying to learn it. Because from the old school is like if you're a really good coach, people will find you and they'll stay, which is part of the equation, but not the whole thing. But yeah, I spent a lot of time trying to, sort that in. Just for visitors, we have I think this year we've averaged 180 unique drop-ins a month. So we have a ton of people coming to the gym. That's just not even regular leads and stuff like that. So, it is hard to sort through them if you don't have a system.
Yeah. And I think even gyms that are like, okay, well, I don't even come close to that with drop-ins. I still think there's a ton that we can take away from the different processes you've come. I don't know if you've had a lot of different iterations of this or how you kind of came to find what works best for you, but I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, still iterating. I mean, I guess there's a website, phone, and I would love to hear what other people do. Like I would steal so much from these conversations. But we have like our website, we have the phone, email, Instagram, just like any way somebody can contact us. And one of the most important is like walk-ins too, so the coaches know what's going on, so they don't just like ignore people. Um, but yeah, starting on any of those, I mean. The website, if you guys go to our website, I've kind of created a form on there that's got little icons people can click through. And there's probably a lot of websites that do this automated now, but I built this a long time ago. And it kind of captures the people's info and then it will link them. And I can talk about the links depending on how people want it. It links them to a system that captures everything, like a CRM system to follow up with them, which is then linked to an SMS system that kind of text them information based on follow-ups and stuff like that. So we get back to people fairly quickly within that, and I guess segment them would be the word. Although I'm not a professional marketer.
Well, I mean, I just put the website in the chat. I don't want to do like a big share screen thing right now. We can if we need to, but basically, right when you go on to the like on your website, there's that how do you want to start, right? Like, where's your journey going to start? Is this like more of a new member? Is this someone that's coming in, previous experience with CrossFit, and maybe that's just a visitor? So you can kind of, that's one sorting method, it sounds like.
Yeah, and I can go into the back end of how I link things with APIs and Zapier and stuff, depending on how people want to do it. With the questions. I think a fun one that we have is like when people call us because we have this system called JustCall, which really is just finding whatever tools work for you. It doesn't have to be an exact one. Um, when it triggers a missed phone call, it texts the person back. So I have it set up so it texts the person back, and within the text menu, it says like text one if you're a visitor or two if you're like wanting to be a member, and then it has different drop down menus, which will be like how to buy a pass. Here's some hikes. Here's all this stuff. So a lot of times, like I don't pick up the phone because it just texts people back, and then they'll click, "Hey, I want to buy this pass," and then they'll buy the pass. It'll send them the pass, and then if they say something weird, I'll start messing with them on text. Um, Sometimes I pretend to be a robot and mess with the drop-ins and things like that. So it's kind of fun. Um, but that also creates a follow-up for people because I think a lot of times missed calls, most affiliates, or at least I was back in the day, not picking up the phone call very often, or it went to my personal cell, and then I'm getting a ton of like random ass numbers, and I'm like trying to scroll up to like who was this? Um, so that's the phone one.
What was that
We
service, Bryant?
uh, it's a service called JustCall, which is just like an online SMS and phone thing. The reason I chose that is because it has an API, so it can link with other programs. So as soon as somebody fills out the website form, it creates a profile for them in our CRM system, which then creates a profile for them in the phone. So if they ever call or text me, I have all of their information right there. I can see who it is, if that makes sense. So um, I think there's a lot of programs like I see like Kilo and stuff, and I'm like, dude, they probably put this all together. I've like cobbled it together over the years of of just figuring it out myself. But but yeah, that's the phone one on in the gym. And I was trying to find some photos of mock-ups. We have a bunch of business cards that are printed out. One is, and they'll have QR codes on them. So there's like four of them at the front desk. And the coaches are all trained when somebody drops in, first impression, you should, if you can't get to somebody, you should at least smile and be like, hey, I'll be there in a second. But there's basically like, if you're a new member, here's this card, scan this QR code and do it. If you're we have a link tree that has a link to all of our forms for membership. So like hold forms, cancel forms, 24-hour access forms, all the videos, how to use our app. So the link tree has every question that a member could ask the coach. They hand them this business card that has a QR code. Um, so the coaches just really have to be like, ugh. They just have like these ways to really quickly do it, especially if they're in the middle of the class, because you
Yeah.
don't want somebody standing there for like 5 minutes looking around, feeling awkward.
And you don't have like a front desk person in this scenario, then it sounds like.
No, because we train. That's one of the
Barcode.
first things we train people on is first impression on the internship program. Is you either greet somebody or make eye contact like really quickly, and you're like, hey, or you say, hey, I'll get to you in a few seconds after I'm done my workout if it's in between class. Check out the gym. But we have that so that people can do that. We have a QR code for our merchandise too, because I'm lazy and I talk to people too much when I'm selling it. So just have people grab all their shirts. I'm like, hey, here's a QR code. You can scan this, and they do. And I mean, we sell a ton of shirts. So
We could do an entire call, I feel like, about you and your merchandising. You have an amazing, like, what was it, vending machine that's like tiki decked out like a tiki bar or something.
yeah, I bought a vending machine at the start of COVID, which I convinced my advisors that it would make money, and it has. But then I learned that you could wrap it however you wanted. So while I was waiting, I did a full tiki art for it. And then when it came, I built a hutch that has thatched roofing with neon lights. And then the top shelf I took out and put all my tiki mugs in it. Um, the only downside is the electric company reversed the power once and it burnt out the internals. So I had to rebuild it. But I I mean, I don't have kids, so sometimes I just go off on these tangents. But the vending machine works really well. If you guys ever didn't want your coaches to like drink all your Fit Aid or something like that, it takes Apple Pay, so I have all the analytics of it, and it has a little elevator, and then I can change out everything. So I've sold shirts, I can sell all kinds of stuff in there.
I love it.
Yeah, but basically the idea of like what I've done with the if we're talking about CRM is any way that somebody can contact us, there's a really easy way for us to capture them and put them in the system, and then we follow up with them, depending on how they reach out to us or what they're looking for. So we try to give them that personal response because a lot of the automations that you'll see if you sign up for something is like, hey, welcome to company XYZ. So our initial one is kind of like meant to sound generic, and then we'll always follow up with them with like real stuff to like mess with them or whatever. So I'm on there quite a bit.
And you
Following up
follow
with
up
the
within like the first, like, as soon as the auto one gets generated, then you guys are the next one. You're interacting. It doesn't keep them along on an auto back and forth.
I try to respond quickly. I always think of the leads, and if anybody is better at marketing, let me know. But I think of the leads a lot of times, and I think I could get a lot better, but I think of them as win more. So on our website, we have what would be the way to think about it? I should have a picture here, but if you have CrossFit experience or if you don't have CrossFit experience, and if you're fit or not fit. That's the way that I break it down. So you have somebody who is really fit, self-identified, like the question is like, do you own Rogue shirts or something like that? And they're experiencing CrossFit. So they're like a 4, I would say, like, and then you have somebody who's not fit, but they're experiencing CrossFit. They're usually coming back from a long break or they're injured. And then you have somebody who's like in the military who's fit that doesn't have CrossFit experience, but they feel like they can jump in. And then you have people that are brand new and not fit, self-identified. So we respond to these people somewhat differently. And what I mean by win more, if somebody puts like, hey, they self it, like we put these questions and there's actually a 5 too, which is the competitor one, which I'm always worried about, where like we put a few questions, if they answer everything the most aggressive they can on that website form, I'll just start messing with them. I'll just be like, hey, what do you suck at right now? That's like my first text, or like, whatever, you know, whatever they put in the form, I'll respond right to it and cut to the middle of the conversation because those people are going to sign up anyway. They're looking for new gyms. If they're military, they PCS'd or moved out here. Um, so the new people are more worried to be like, hey, this is what CrossFit is, come in for a class. We have a like an intro class or something like that. But yeah, I'm trying to not rely on the automations are to remind us to talk to people or
Yeah.
to send out texts that sound like how I would normally talk to with them, not just like, welcome to CrossFit Oahu. We are blah, 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 something like that.
Yeah, I feel like you've shown me some of them, and don't there like at least 5 emojis on a lot of those?
Dude, was slamming those emojis. Um, yeah. So I probably get some chat, but we try to make it friendly because like people text us a lot and then we let them know, just text us here for any questions. We don't let the coaches do any computer transactions. Um, in my head, like a video game, it's like they're very different than another type of character. So we don't let them touch the computer. So everything is done through that forms, the QR codes, or text. In which case, we have 1 or 2 people that will do the memberships and things like that. So that's that's a very important thing for them to learn from the beginning because sometimes that's different. Because we don't want the sticky note, like the sticky note that's like Frank membership, and you're like, what is this, guys? Who?
That's I think everyone's trying to avoid the sticky note pile up. Paul had a question about what program did you use to build out the questionnaire?
I think this one is called involve.me, but I think I used that. I didn't use that for the longest time. It's kind of a more complex one. But I think you just do Google Forms or whatever. I did that because I wanted icons and it has a lot of scoring on it. Um, like so depending on how you do the different questions. And also based on like the way I set up the form, the shorter the form, the more people will fill it out. The longer the form, the less people will fill it out, but the more that they want to be there. So the visitor part of the form is just very quick. But the CrossFit one actually asks a lot of questions so that we can get info and put that in their profile. And I feel like that helps, but it could cut down on the click-through rate, I guess, as it would be called.
And Amanda, I didn't mean to ignore your question, or maybe you actually know the answer to this as you were kind of asking it. Can we work this into the grow with push press? You were talking about the automations.
Yeah, specifically what he was saying about like if somebody calls, like press 1 if you're a new client, press 2 if you have this. Does anybody we use our grow, so I get like text messages and emails through that, but I don't know if anything where if somebody called the phone, if that would direct them to new client, somebody with experience, aging athletes, like that type of thing. Does anybody know if push press does that specifically?
I don't know, but I feel like you should put that on their radar because then maybe they'll add it.
Yeah, I'm
Or-
I don't think they do that.
I'm
or
texting
they-
Sam to
Yeah, or they can
for
link
another-
with a company that already does it or something, right? Kind
They,
of-
They probably
This-
could add it.
Yeah.
I read some of their documentation. They have a lot of stuff on there, and I'm like, this would have been nice a long time ago.
Yeah.
So
Make them do it, Amanda. She's on it.
I mean, dude, I have like, if you go to the bottom of our link, I mean, I like putting stupid stuff in there too. Like, so it's always fun. Like at the bottom of our link tree, there's like click in time of need on Instagram. It's like a picture of a cat hanging on. So there's like fun little stuff you can put in the menus like that. But then I think it's just really important of like, over time, the questions people have asked, that's how I've iterated the menus, and that's how I've changed the words to answer exactly what people, ask. So usually what they ask is what we try to give them in the emails before they know, or use the lingo. Because the emails to people that are coming in that are more advanced can be, at least the initial one can be different than the brand new people. You know what I mean? So, because they're interested in 24-hour access, they're interested that we've got like a safety squat bar, just dumb stuff, like whatever. But new people are not interested in that stuff the same way.
Yeah. I actually really like that. I feel like that probably makes it easier on you guys too, because all those headache questions are filtered away into the two or three different groups of people that are coming in.
For us, segmenting the visitors and the potential members or the new members right away is huge. There's always going to be a subset of people, and we have a guy on our staff who's amazing. Some people are always going to want to talk to people. You can't automate it or write signs or emails or whatever away. Some people are always going to talk to people, and that's fine. That's totally fine. And they will just like spam. I actually kind of like it when they spam the system, where they just spam. They'll like call, because it sends that follow-up email, right? Like when they call or text, they'll just call like 4 times, and then I'll start, just messing with them. I'm like, oh man, what's going on? We're trying to be passive aggressive to you, especially if I know the person. But I can go more in detail about any of the stuff, because I'm kind of going a high level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Brush.
So whatever questions people have, because I know they're, it's kind of high level right now.
Yeah, when we talked, Bryant was very much like, let's talk about whatever, like weirdest question wins. Like, what have you guys got? So anyone, no dumb questions, and or we can take it in a different direction if you guys had wanted, if you had different question. Or is everybody already doing this?
I got lazy with my
Are
stats
you guys
too.
doing it better than Bryant? Educate him on what you're doing.
I wouldn't say it's better. I mean, I would say I'm at the point where I kind of know what I don't know, but there's a lot of holes, and I'm always interested in fixing these holes. And I think we have a pretty good conversion rate, because I track that. But I think we could always do a better job with people that are on the edge. Like anybody that moves here and is interested in CrossFit or fairly fit, it's really easy for us to get them. Just because of the vibe. They come in, they see the gym, they're like, as long as they live close, like our average member lives like, I think it's like 1.5 miles away. So as long as they live close, but the people that are on the edge, I really think I can do a better job of like helping them after they join, you know. And I always get that FOMO when I'm like scrolling through Instagram. They're like, "Oh, we got the 180-day template," and I was like, "I've tried a bunch of stuff." Like, I'm like, I always think I could do it better, but yeah, just about any of the systems that I have, I'd love to answer anything, I guess, or show it, I guess.
So let's Brian, we started diving into this. Dive into a little bit about you. I mean, you've been an affiliate owner for how long? A shit ton of years. Let's hear about that, your journey. How come you stayed doing it by yourself and didn't jump on with the CRM or anything like that? What led you to continue to do it on your own?
The CRM stuff, or just affiliate ownership?
No, like just a little bit of background
Oh,
behind you and
yeah.
CrossFit Wahoo, and then through the years of you doing that, how come you've kept doing it on your own and not
The toxic trait.
purchasing a CRM company to let that shit go and you to focus on something else. Tell me about Oahu.
Yeah. No, I started CrossFit. I have a screenshot of my form date, the CrossFit form in 2003. So it took me a little bit to register. I was in the military. Wow. Yeah, Craig, I got it on that old one. Back when you could consume all CrossFit content in 1 hour, maybe. But yeah, I love the forum. I was in the military until, God, I had to stay an extra year, so I got like 2005 or something, 2006. So had I been able to get out earlier, I would have opened an affiliate earlier, because there's no affiliates when I started, and then I watched them start. And I've been doing it in the park. And I think when we got out, we were like 44, something like that. Yeah, and just kept growing. And you talk about Pana, like at one point I owned 5 gyms. I just opened them. I had no plan for it. And then like heard some other people were like, "Hey, we would like to buy the gym from you." And I was like, "Okay, cool." That was right before COVID, so that was nice. And then in terms of like doing stuff, man, I love learning stuff and diving into things. And, you know, again, if I had stats like delegation, sometimes I'm weak on, but I'll sit there and just try to figure stuff out, whether it's welding or programming, or I just like doing that type of stuff. So we had MindBody Online because we're ancient and there's a way to get the information out of MindBody Online. And then that was what I had, and that's kind of what I built the mouse, like, you know, it's like the Rube Goldberg machine, like mousetrap. So that's what I built that around. So I think there's a, you know, there's a cost to switching over to like push press and stuff for us because we have a lot of stuff working really well. And but I don't know if it would be perfect for everybody to try to replicate what I did. But I'm not saying it's better because when things break, I have to fix it and things like that. But man, do I love to tinker with some stuff. And I think it is, if you were like a really efficient business owner, probably wouldn't be like the advice you would give to people.
Would you, if you could go back and do it again, would you do it the same way that you did it and that you're still doing it?
Sure, sure. I would change how I ran, knowing what I know now, but I only know it because I would change a lot what I did when I ran multiple affiliates because I have a lot more experience in that. And I would set up those systems different. And we didn't have a CRM then because that was like 2013 to 18. So it was just like people just joining. And it's just like shoveling like coal into the fire. You know what I mean? Like whoever stays, stays. So we've done better with that. But in terms of like, I mean, a lot of the knowledge that I have now just is to stop me from making stupid mistakes. So that's good. But I like how everything has worked out for us with the setup and everything like that. But then when I look at push press, like some of that stuff, if you were to utilize a lot of it, that's like probably 90% of it. There's a lot of stuff you can do if you have full programming, but it's probably not a big, it's just like a value add. It's like a cool thing for people that know, I guess. I don't know.
Did you switch to, are you push press now or are you still mind body?
I'm mind body. I'm still in the belly of the beast right there. I'm mind body, but I pull all the data every night from the visits and the sales. And then I can use that through different systems and APIs like Google Sheets or whatever to do whatever sort of analytics or follow-ups we need to do.
How are you managing retention through mind body? And are you doing anything for retention?
Dude, retention is the toughest, man. And this is my excuse. I don't know if you guys have ever done this, like where you make an excuse to like validate your non-behavior. I've started at the front of the funnel and worked on like really making it strong. And I'm like, I'm getting to those check-ins. Like, so basically our rough system is if people don't show up over 7 days, we check in with them and we have alerts through Pipedrive, which is our CRM. But are there ways that we can incentivize check-ins better? Yes. And I think that would lead to a lot of retention, both in, you know, forcing people to check in, telling the coach to do it, which is kind of not super effective, but also when you recognize people that have come for 8 sessions. We have an automation that when somebody books, but they don't show up, the first time it picks from a list of 10, hopefully nobody's watching this, picks from a list of 10 snarky comments that I have in a Google Sheets and it sends it to them. Like, where were you? I. And a lot of times they'll be like, I was there. And I was like, oh, just checking that you weren't dead. You know what I mean? So that they know that we're watching. But man, I think that's one of those ones I think I could do so much better in it. But I mean, we probably do a good job, but I think right when somebody does their 8th session for 8 times a month, that's a point to congratulate them or to I don't like the word, but to upsell them or to say, hey, next month, if you wanted to go to unlimited, it's free on me. And we've done these all individually, but I haven't like set them all into like full automations because I always get bogged down with other stuff. So I can only do a little bit each day.
Like decorating for Halloween.
Our Halloween party is stressing me out. We did, if you guys could go on there and see the thing, we have the most.
You guys, they are insane. I know I don't mean a tangent, but literally he sent me a picture of a rower that is exclusively like like the handlebar is a bone and there's this giant skeleton. I said, I was like, is that a functional rower? He's like, oh yeah, fully functioning.
Well,
Anyway,
there you go, Randy. I got an airbrush and stencils, and I stenciled flames and skulls on a Model C because
nice
we had the
stuff.
older ones, and then we put a bone handle on it.
The bone handle's probably better than that wooden one anyway, and that was probably splintering.
sick.
And Adam, I see your hand up, and there's also some questions in the chat. So let's start with Adam, and then we'll go from there.
My question was around lead follow-up.
Mhm.
Is it just you that does that, or is there a team of you? And if there is a team of you, I have a follow-up question from that.
There's one other person, and I think this is actually very important because if it doesn't come off on the nature a little bit, like if you give me like a problem, I'm gonna try to like solve it and do it. But if you give me like every day at 3 o'clock, you have to be here checking this thing, I'm historically really bad at that. Like I can't, yeah, I'm really bad. So we have had different people, and basically this person, I meet with them every day on Monday. We have a checklist of things that we go down, and then you can kind of see through the system where somebody's moving through the system, whether they've moved or not. And then he knows based on how long they are in each part of the system, like not followed up, initial contact, verbal, waiting, or whatever, what he should be doing or closing them out, or if they convert to a new member. But with that, I think you have to be really specific because in the past I've paid people to do stuff and I'm like, oh yeah, just go do this, follow up with people. And that's not really good. You have to be really specific and kind of stay on it. Not only does he follow up with the leads, he follows up with the people in their first week of membership, and then through their first month a little bit, and then he does with another guy helping with like credit card declines. We have prepaids, expirations on those, stuff like that, unpaid visits.
Okay. Yeah, I guess my question was like, historically I've done it all myself. Then I hired a GM, and then him and I have been doing it, and I'm wanting to offload more of it to have like my GM and like another employee do it. And I'm just having trouble trying to figure out the best way to like track that all of those touch points are being met. Cause we do the same thing, like, the first week follow-ups, the first month follow-ups, and then like also, actually the actual leads. But I was just wondering if you had like a system that you utilize to make it more efficient and effective, having multiple people using like in that whole wheelhouse.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes we text from the same number and mess with people or whatever, but I think more what you're talking about is there's got to be some metrics that you check as a manager, and it's not always my funnest thing to manage, but we check the conversion rate from leads to we have a thing called 808 special. So Hawaii's area code is 808 808. So it's $8 for 8 consecutive days. Literally 0 people turn that down. And why I do that is because when they do the 8 days for $8, we can set up either an initial visit for them if they're brand new, or if they're a veteran member, they can just start. We want people to start within an hour if they wanted to. There shouldn't be any lag. And when we get to that 808, we've already got their credit card information. So within that conversion from the lead to the 808, there's a percentage that you guys would want to hit. So you can say, hey, for us, for advanced people, it's almost like 80%. But then once they're in our trial, there's a conversion ratio. And right now we're at 55% on average for a lot of those people. And then if that dips down, then I start talking to them about what's going on, stuff like that. But part of it is the follow-up on the phones and stuff like that. But really, you should be seeing the people in the gym, talking to them. The other metric that I check with them, because I can check this on JustCall, is just how many texts and phone calls he sends per day. And as long as you're calling 2 people and texting like 10 times, bare minimum, you're like picking the cream of the crop to follow up. I'm kind of okay with that. So that might take a second for you to figure out what your ratios will be. But I think if you track it with them, you can probably figure it out pretty quick. That's what's worked for me.
Do you guys do any type of like on-ramping for people that have no CrossFit experience, or they just go straight to class?
Both, depending on how they feel. And in COVID, we had Elements, which was 6 sessions for $300, and COVID that went away. And we have that if people want to buy it, but then also people come to class, and that's another area we just got a bunch more coaches, and I really want to add it back. We've done group Elements and stuff before. but I would like to bring back the private elements a lot more, because right now we have it, but it's not like systematized. Usually what we do for new people now, because we talk to them so much, is when they purchase the 808 special, we say, hey, we've got these classes. So we do have some like classes that are the same as the regular class, but we call them WOD prep. So it's just scaled, but they feel comfortable going to it. Say, hey, when you go to the gym your first time, tell us what you don't understand, and we'll see if it's right for you to, do PT or to, come to class if there's just a normal experience. Because we follow up with people a lot, that works. But I'm also not like a hard sell type person. So
And I
hopefully-
assume you guys obviously have a ton of drop-ins being in Hawaii. How do you mitigate people utilizing the 808 when they should be paying for a drop-in?
this is an amazingly deep question, guys, and you will like this. One, sometimes you can't, like, there's a subset of individuals that just want to skirt the system, and I love it when I find them, because I'll be like, dude, if you needed $12 off the drop-in pass that bad, you just got to let me know. I would, I'll mess with them, but for us, there's a couple things. One is training of the coaches. The first question they always ask is very specific, and I have it printed on the front desk, which is, are you dropping in, or are you looking to join as a new member? So that's a thing that we have right out of the gate, and we have everything's color coded. So it's like kindergarten, like the blue is the visitors and the green is the new members. We keep all of our visitor waivers in a separate system. So we use a waiver through like Google Forms when they do the visitor pass. So it doesn't go into MindBody Online. We don't sell memberships and stuff online because visitors can't buy it. And then when people fill out a waiver for our MindBody Online, I have an automation that if it's not a Hawaii address, it stops everything and starts sending them snarky texts about asking, are they visiting or whatever. So we've had to iterate that quite a bit, but most people aren't purposely trying to skirt the system. It's really rare. It's pretty rare. It'd be
I
more
just
the
wanna-
coaches being lazy, I think.
I just want to follow up on some of what Adam's questions were, because Shelby was kind of tagging in on similar questions. I want to make sure her stuff got answered. I feel like, so one of them she said was about how you evaluate the return on investment for paying someone to do that. Did that kind of get covered there, Shelby? And then her previous question was, do you pay that employee on their conversion, or how do you go about?
I don't. We might have to in the future, because this is kind of a weird one with this employee here. I did pay like hourly a long time ago, but this particular person, we have a whole yoga studio upstairs, so he actually trades for the sublease and runs a business out of it, part-time. But it's probably equivalent to like $3,600, $3,000 a month, something like that. I would say. So we kind of have a good deal with that. I would definitely, if somebody was, and I've been really hesitant because I like to do a lot of stuff, even when I had multiple gyms, I would definitely pay somebody who's really following what you want and hitting the metrics that you want on that stuff, because it's their only job and they're really good at it and they'll know what to do with it. But I think it's really important. You got to be structured and follow up on it, which is hard. But I mean, you can just get better each time.
Amanda dropped in the comments that she talked to Dan from Push Press. He texted back that they are testing out, Push Press is testing out an AI voice agent, if you guys didn't see that. So if you're Push Press, they're working on it. A couple other questions that got thrown in a little bit earlier. Parker was asking where most of your leads come from. Are you generating members through social advertising, etc.?
We have about 45 people filling out the form a month, plus some walk-ins, so maybe around 50 leads on average. All of it's just through our website. I don't spend any money because I don't feel like our funnel's good enough for me to just throw a bunch of money at that. Because when we did a long time ago, I didn't have any follow-up system. We had like 200 people. I'm like, dude, I'm not doing these people a service. The only thing that I've really done that I think possibly, I mean, we might be a little different, but I do think it's important, is I pretty much maximized our Google Maps. So we're the second highest gym in the United States from what I could do by scraping all the data. And we have like 700 or 800 5-star Google reviews. I have videos on there. I have it linked so that we do our updates. generally I respond to people. I think I got to finish this last month of responses to people. We have a 3D walkthrough on Google Maps. So a lot of our people do find us just by Googling. If you look at it, they do like gym or CrossFit or something like that. And it's very clear if they're close to us, we're actual CrossFit, and they can look through everything. And then right from there, they can click on the link to buy stuff to either set up the 808 or visitor pass. But I think a lot of CrossFit gyms don't do Google Maps that well. And for us, it's huge. I stopped Yelp because like nobody was coming through Yelp that much for us. And I don't pay for ads because we're already at the top.
Shelby was asking similar to that. What about members that your number of members you get through referrals versus do you do anything like a bring a friend week? Do you guys do any promotions that kind of increase new members or referrals?
Dude, I've tried, but nothing structured. And that's like one of those excuses again. When I get to the end of the funnel, I'm going to do the bring a friend week. And dude, I've saved so much information. Like I just hoard this information on like how to do referrals, how to do bring a friend week, when to do it. I planned one earlier this year that I didn't do. I was like, I'm not ready. And it's like the bad attitude. We do have a lot of members do. I try to thank members when they do bring somebody. We had somebody just bring somebody and they bought a year membership. So that was nice. But I honestly think that's the next, if I was going to really spend my energy on anything, that would probably be the next thing for getting people in is referrals through members. I would love to hear structured systems of other stuff.
On referrals or just
Yeah.
in general?
Yeah, just in referrals.
Anything anybody do that's awesome that they want other people to steal? Yeah, Adam.
I stole something from Daniel Chaffee, which actually worked out really well. We created these like really nice Yetis, like custom Yetis, and we like hung them up all over the gym. We just hung up free signs on them, like ask us how, and essentially said if you bring in one person that joins with a membership, you get this for free. And we had multiple people like, oh, I just want to buy one, and we're like, these aren't for sale. Like you can't have these unless you bring somebody in. And with it, I think we ordered 12 of them, and I think we had all of them gone within like 2 months. And like it was cool, like people like sporting them around the gym, and like we thanked them like as we hands like, oh, thanks for bringing in so and so, here's your Yeti. And like, you know, as like they started disappearing from the gym, people were like more inclined to like bring people in quicker. We had a bunch of significant others join, like, oh, like my wife wants to join, she was thinking about it anyways, and like I got this cool Yeti. And so, yeah, just like making it something displayable so you can like be like, hey, like this is here for you for free, but you cannot buy it, was super helpful. And it's cool to see people still walking around the gym with those Yetis.
And if anyone's on the fence about that, Yeti is literally doing free customization, ends today. If you wanted to customize with your logo and you're willing to put out some money, they're doing free customization until midnight tonight.
And like, I think they ended up costing less than $60 per thing. And like, I would pay $60 for a new member any day. And they're always the best referrals. Like referrals are the best clients anyways. So it's like a win on so many aspects.
Yeah, we do something. I mean, we don't do custom Yetis, but I think Chas, I saw her mouth drop just like my mouth dropped when you said that, Katie. So I think she's already on the Yeti website. But we do a referral program, give 50, you get 50 and you give 50. So similar, right? Similar to that. Everybody that comes in and brings someone. But the difference is it's not a discount on your membership. It's $50 cash in your hand in front of everybody else in the gym. And we give it $50 cash in hand to the new person coming in and signing up. And there's no minimum, there's no nothing that you just sign up, you get 50 and you get to give 50 to someone else. We had one of our members bring in 3 of their family and dropped $150 cash in her hand in front of everybody, and everybody freaked out. She freaked out, and she almost got a free month of membership off of it, right? Little things like that people see that they get when they bring people in. And just like what Adam said, those referrals are the solid referrals coming from someone that bringing a friend, family member, coworker, whatever. Those are solid referrals coming in instead of soft referrals from like, oh, I saw you on an Instagram post. Or even though Google is really solid for us too, Google leads. These are really great retention and conversions.
Love that. I love the dramatic handing of the cash or the Yeti.
It's amazing.
I saw what kind of membership do you require to receive it? I think Shelby meant like to receive the Yeti, or maybe even the $50. What kind of membership is required?
We just do like, I mean, our most we have 10 packs unlimited memberships, but as long as it's like a reoccurring membership, not like a one-off package of classes, then they'd get it. That's for us, obviously.
Mhm.
Yeah, same with us. It's as long as you sign up for one of our memberships, you get the referral.
And then Amanda, I wasn't sure what your question was.
Sorry, I didn't hear you say Yeti, but now I'm shopping, so yeah.
Everyone has a Yeti browser open right now. I ordered mine last night for the coaches' gifts for the volleyball team and put the school logo on there. I was like, this is awesome, free customization. Anyway, get your Christmas gifts while you're there. Shelby, what's up?
Oh, sorry, I have a follow-up question. Sorry, I'm sick. What kind of cancellation policy do you guys have? Because I'm a new gym owner, so this might be a naive question, but signing up for recurring memberships, we ran a promotion, and then I had a few that, you know, got the promotion and now they've left. And so I'm trying to figure out what a good cancellation policy is moving forward, or if we need to have one.
For us, we didn't really have a cancellation policy for the longest time, for like 10 years per se, until we ran into one problem where one person was like really hard about it. So then we had to like kind of think about it. We have a cancellation form people need to fill out. They fill out the form and it alerts us. And if you guys, I'll do this. Let me, I'll put it in the chat. Here's our, that's a cancel form. You pretty much copy it and adjust it, but I think we have like where it says like you have to cancel so far before, you know, the end of the month and stuff like that. We only really enforce that if people are assholes for some reason, which is so rare. Because for us, the most important thing of the policy is that people leave on good terms if they're staying, because most of the time they come back, and that's really important for me to know, is talk to people when they cancel. So I don't really enforce it. If they like were like, okay, they were like, okay, like it's a day past, can I cancel it? We'll usually just void the transaction. We do have parts where people can buy like a year up front. So that's a little different, where with that, we usually just reconvert it. If they're leaving for military, they'll reconvert it to the regular price, not the discounted price. But I would say for the biggest thing for the cancel is those reasons why people leave. I have so much stats on why people leave, and it's mostly because it's not because they're not happy. It's because they're moving off island. Hawaii is highly transient. That's why we have so many people joining and leaving each month. There's a little bit of churn that we can't control. But I keep stats on all the people that are moving on island, because I'm going to send them the Halloween party invitation and they come, and stuff like that. And a lot of times people cancel, you can set a reminder, like if it's like, oh, I'm injured, or, you know, whatever, to follow up with them later. So, but I'm not super strict on it. Like, I couldn't imagine seeing somebody at Whole Foods or something where they canceled one day late, and I'm like, I need your 185, you know, and then I see them in the aisle and I'm like, you know, because I'm going to see everybody here. You know what I mean? We have a lot of members that come back.
And it's a small island, right? Shelby can relate. She's in Alaska. She might as well be on an island.
Yeah, so that's
bigger.
but yeah, I guess another thing with the like, if you guys look in that code, like the cfoahu.me/cancel, I've made short codes for everything. So sign up is cfoahu.me/sign up. Links for member links is links. The Halloween tickets is Halloween. I make those for everything because it's really easy to text people and send them stuff. So I think that's really helpful.
All through that same website that you talked about before.
This is a website I use called RebrandMe, which makes links, and you buy your own domain.
So it's not the Involve Me one.
That's a form website.
Okay.
Dude, I love my websites.
Yeah.
So that's why it's maybe not for everybody, but I mean,
So
I think having
one...
the links really accessible, because also when you do the short codes, that's when you can make QR codes for different links. So you can do that.
So you made a Google form, but then you said RebrandMe as a site, and that makes the short
Yeah.
URL. Okay,
That
cool.
makes like this up. So like I put the links in there. If you like go to that, that's like a link tree that has a link to all of our forms and videos for the apps and things. So if somebody's like, how do I download our 24-hour access app? The coaches give them this one link. Everything is there. So we don't use the cancel one a lot, but like the links is all in there. And that makes your life a lot easier because no matter what question they ask a coach, they're just like, here's everything's here. I tell the coaches to be friendly. Don't be like throwing, you know, the card at them or whatever.
Love it. All right. We're closing in on the end of the time. What else did we not get to, guys? I know there was Amanda made a comment about how you probably crush it with merchandise because she was given a CrossFit Oahu tank back in the day from someone that dropped in. Do you do a lot of apparel with drop-ins?
We do when I keep it in stock because sometimes I'm lazy, but I like making vector art. I like doing art like Photoshop, Illustrator, stuff like that. So we try to make new shirts every 2 months. It's just something I like to do. So I try now to plan out like as far ahead in the year, the designs and stuff. We've had like 90 designs. So I love selling. I mean, I think between visitors and shirts, yeah, we do really well. We do well with that as long as I have it in. We also do hats, patches, stickers, just different stuff as we go through.
Do you, Bryant, do you stay in touch with your OG members, the ones that have come, spent some time with you, then moved on? Do you do any types of communications, and how often do you see those folks coming back?
Every once in a while, we'll have somebody that moved away in the military and come back, for sure. I kind of suck at staying in contact with people in general. So I don't go on social media that often. And I have some people that I text and things like that. So there's probably a lot of members I should keep in track with that have been like 10-year members and move away. But I don't have like a structured way of doing that, I would say. Do you? How does that work?
We do. It's just happenstance. I just pulled my old MindBody database, my entire database, and then I send out a weekly email to our members, just kind of updating them on what's. I preach to them a little bit in the first paragraph about health and fitness, nutrition, and then the rest of it is just updates on what's happening in the gym for the week. But what I found is I just did that just for our current members, and then I said, well, I'm going to send it out to everybody, and I started sending it out to everybody. The open rate is phenomenal, and I do get people coming back. I'll get 1 to 2 a month that come back that are, were with us 5, 6, 7 years ago. And it's one of the cool things about being around as long as you have or I have. We do get that member that left and they come back. And usually when they come back, they're not more fit when they come back.
Yeah. We have a big email list. I don't do a lot with it. It kind of stresses me out sometimes. I really need to get on that. That sounds amazing.
It works.
Yeah, I feel like if you could ever get that going, Bryant, that would be really cool. I read Craig's newsletter. I feel like you would have you would have a lot to say, and you have a lot of events you guys do, like Craig's gym. They're always doing something. They're either doing a challenge or they have an upcoming, going out into the community event. So you guys are always doing either a fundraiser or a party, or we're training for this, we're training that. I mean, you calendar out a year in advance, everything that's going on in the gym. So I feel like, not to put more on your plate, but if you do start a newsletter, I want to be on the list because I want to hear about it.
Yeah, I think for the way I could probably only do it like if I started writing a lot of it like ahead of time.
Yeah.
And then like popped in and like updated it because like I feel like I failed at it a bunch where I've sent some stuff out like I'm gonna start and lock this in, but I haven't. But I did open our email thing the other day, like Craig was saying, and we had like 13,000 things going back to 2006.
Dude, that's a great list.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So I've kept them all.
How many people have dropped in?
Yeah.
Be on your list, Craig. Oh, Adam wants on the Diablo list.
I'll send him mine. He has like almost 3 times as many names as I do. That's amazing.
I know, that's amazing.
We've had a lot of drop-ins.
Bryant, I feel like you could write out 52 weeks of newsletters in a weekend.
I'd probably just do 12. This is some chat GPT
Thanks,
level.
Randy. I
But
know some people have got to hop off, but if anyone had any other last questions, please let us know.
I don't know if I can share this window. I'll try to share just this. This is, I have these, actually, let me open up a bunch here. Just talking about these cards that have really helped. And let me try to open a bunch here and see if this will work. Bam. Okay. I think I've got it. So these are like the QR codes that we have. I'm allowed to share. Bam. Okay. So like these cards are, we have holders for them. So this is like when people come in, we can hand them this. And a lot of times it helps them sign up, you know, something like that. So I like doing the art on it, but I think it could be really simple. It doesn't have to be like that. It could just, and we also have a placemat that has the scan on it. So people walk in, if they haven't purchased something, they can purchase it right there.
That's awesome. Those are cute. I like that. You designed those?
Some of that art was from a shirt that I had another guy draw because he does like vintage stuff. So I just try to chop up the art and use it. But I did the layout and stuff in Photoshop.
It's great. And like you see, everything's color coded, right? It's like,
dude, all of our equipment's color coded like play school for people to try to put it back correctly.
but it's good because you've got Hawaii in the rainbow, so everything can just relate back to everything can be rainbow. Can you share the card somehow to check out? Let's see.
I tried to drop it in the thing. The big thing I think to take away the card was I just put a QR code on one side with big what it was.
Mhm.
And then the other side I put a little bit of info. People just don't really read the info though. And you could probably go on Fiverr and hire somebody just to do that. The QR code I made with that link shortener website, but you can make QR codes a ton of different ways. And the rationale is really if a coach is in the middle of teaching like an imam, they could be like, hey, here's the card. If you want to fill it out for the visitor pass, you can, or whatever, boom, 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 you know, whatever.
I think that's really smart. Yeah, I don't know if there is any way to, I don't know if you have either like a picture of that or a whatever. I don't know how I would share that. I'm taking notes of like all your links and stuff. So I'll put that all when I post this call in YouTube. So anyone that missed out on like the chat, I don't know if we have a way to include a picture of that, but
I mean, I can send it to anybody that stuff. It's pretty.
yeah, I could also just include your email so people can reach out if they had follow-up questions, assuming you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Probably
I'll try my best. No, I think it's always interesting. Like everybody has a different approach to stuff when I've got to talk to different owners, and there's no real right or wrong way, which is the cool thing about affiliates. There's some better ways than other ways for sure. But I'm always surprised listening to how other people solve problems, and it's always very interesting to me. So I like sharing, but I love actually listening more. A lot of times I'll just sit there and like soak up the information. So hopefully it's been helpful. And anybody can reach out. I still reach out to a lot of people. We're trying to do a plunge pool type situation, and I'm reaching out to so many owners because I'm so interested in like, how do you let people in? What happens if it's male and female in there? Like, 24-hour access. Really interesting. So I love talking to other people if anybody wants to reach out.
Yeah, I think that's the great thing about this call. Like, don't feel like you have to wait till next month to talk to an affiliate owner or hear from an affiliate owner. Like, I can always exchange info for you all if you see someone or hear something you want to hear more about, but let this be kind of just the monthly, I don't know, catalyst so that you can then take it and run with it, go talk to each other, get more ideas. If you guys think of more topics, things you want to hear more about, people you want to hear from more, keep letting me know. Bryant, thank you so much. Thanks for being so open to chat about things and answering questions. And I learned a lot, spelled a lot out for me that I wouldn't have known otherwise. So really appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime.
All right, everyone. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next month.
Great call,
Bye.
Katie. Thank you.
Thanks.